Hello again! Today we are here to tackle a very important subject matter. Firefight by Sanderson. This is book 2 of the Reckoners series, and you guys know that I really haven't shut up about the first book in the series, Steelheart, which I talk about a lot because it's amazing. The sequel to Steelheart does not disappoint. Now that David is no longer blinded by revenge, and Megan is somewhere out there with Prof's target on her back, he's beginning to wonder whether killing epics is really the right answer. Now don't get me wrong, David isn't going soft. There are some epics that really just need to die. But David's a nerd. He's spent his entire life studying every aspect of the epics, their weaknesses, their habits, their powers. And the more David learns about the epics, the less and less they make sense. The epics defy all laws of nature. They shouldn't exist. But somehow they do. Ever since Calamity, this is something people have just come to accept. There are no explanations for the epics. They just are. David isn't so sure. Well, the pulse-pounding action doesn't let up for a second, of course. The Reckoners are faced with a new epic adversary, Regalia, and they travel to Babylon Restored, the former city of Manhattan, in order to take her on. Nothing about this story begins to feel repetitive. I mean, basically, you've got the same story. You've got the Reckoners, who are opposed to a very powerful epic, and they want to find a way to take her down, right? But no, there is no sense of, oh, so this is the norm at all, because Sanderson never gives us a minute of rest. Never, ever, ever. There is always something happening. It's not repetitive because we've got whole new aspects to the storyline. Not the least of which is the fact that maybe Regalia quite possibly wants the Reckoners to actually help her, or she just wants to slaughter them all. It's really a tough call. Either way, she's got something up her sleeve, and Prof is determined that they will not get caught in her trap. Of course, when David realizes that Megan, Firefight, has recently entered Regalia's employ, he's faced with a really tough decision. Megan or the Reckoners? It's really hard when your best friends are gunning after the girl you're really falling for. While trying to stop the homicidal maniacs from destroying Babylon Restored, David is chasing down his ever-increasing number of questions about the epics. What are they? What turns them evil? Is there a pattern that people aren't seeing? And most important, can any of the epics still be saved? One of my favorite things about Steelheart was Sanderson's unbelievable ability to throw plot twists at me. I mean, I usually see those things coming from a mile off, and somehow he threw in several that just came right out of the blue. I absolutely loved it. I remember thinking about halfway through reading Firefight. Man, it's really too bad that he can't throw another plot twist at me, but I totally get it, because, I mean, what's left? He's already done all of the possible plot twists that I can conceive of. I mean, you read Steelheart, right? What on earth could possibly top that as far as plot twists go? Whereas Steelheart blew me away with the plot twists, Firefight really caught me with the science behind it all. Here David were plunged even deeper into the world of the Reckoners, and Sanderson's incredible depth of imagination will never cease to amaze me. My mind is still reeling. I mean, the guy has thought of everything. I mean, I am a superhero fan. DC, Marvel, love them. And I think we can all admit that the core of the superhero genre is far-fetched. The idea itself is illogical, and most of the science behind it is incredibly outdated. Seriously, exposure to gamma rays and toxic radiation, you are dead. So dead. Don't get me wrong, these superheroes are classic. The lore so ingrained into our upbringing that it doesn't really matter how ridiculous it is. DC and Marvel are going to survive. But Sanderson doesn't just ride the coattails of these classics and expect his readers to suspend their disbelief just for the love of superheroes. He has created an entire system, completely logical system, for the science behind the epics. And granted, we don't have all of the answers yet, even by the end of Firefight. I mean, I don't know how many more books there's gonna be, but there's still questions. But I am totally confident, because of what I learned in this book, that Sanderson is going to give us answers to every single aspect of the mystery. We will not be left hanging. We will not be given some "the epics are here just because they are" kind of explanation. There's going to be a reason. There are reasons for everything. Everything. Reasons. So many reasons. Now, David is quickly becoming one of my favorite characters of all time in fiction. Love him so much. He has got some really great development, I mean, in each book and then as in the series as a whole so far. In Steelheart, he is hunting down the guy who murdered his father. He is bent on revenge, but he's not like this dark, brooding person. He is hilarious, and now that Steelheart is dead, he's learning kind of how to fill the void left by the absence of his hatred and this need for vengeance from Steelheart, because Steelheart is dead. He got his vengeance, right? So now he's learning kind of how to deal with that, and the answers are surprising him. And this is kind of crucial to the whole storyline is how he's dealing with the after effects of killing Steelheart. And I love that so much, but I love everything about David. His sincerity, his reckless heroism, his complete and utter faith in the people that he believes in. And so many bad metaphors. Oh my gosh, bad metaphors. Love them. I am loving him more and more as his journey continues, because he's just, throughout it all, he's still David. Despite all of the bad things, I mean, this basically post-apocalyptic kind of society that they live in, he is just someone who is determined to do the right thing, no matter how hopeless or pointless it is. He is not gonna give the epic satisfaction of thinking that all of humanity has bowed down to their will. He is going to be the person who is going to fight back, whether or not he wins, and I love that about him. I adore that about him. This is a guy I can root for. He refuses to back down, even if he's outgunned and outnumbered. Come on, Amanda, tell us how you really feel. There was only one thing in the story that I was really, really disappointed in, and that's the fact that Cody isn't really featured in it much. David and Tia and Proth all go to Babylon Restored, but Cody and Abraham are left behind in New Chicago to kind of keep an eye on things there, and I'm going through serious Cody withdrawals because I love him. And the next book better have more Cody. There better be so much more Cody. Firefight by Brandon Sanderson. 5 out of 5 stars, which is an absolute surprise to no one who has watched any length of this video. Da-da-da! Captain Literary approved.